Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story, which is simply titled Male 32, Cheating Fiancé, Female 31. Let me start from the beginning here. Yesterday I met my fiancé at our wedding venue for our 4-month out meeting to finalize details. We drove to the venue separately because she was leaving straight from work. Towards the end of the meeting, she let me know her friend was dropping off her rental car and needed a ride home and asked if it would be okay. I said yes, thinking nothing of it as it wasn't that far from our home and I know her friend well. I get home and try to get in touch with her for the next 3 hours. No answer. At approximately the 1:30 mark, I text her friend and asked if she made it to her okay. I was very worried. My fiancé ends up coming home and says sorry it took longer than expected. She hung out with her friend for a bit before leaving. Okay, no biggie, just let me know next time please. Her friend gets back to me a few minutes later and says, sorry, I couldn't make it to the venue, didn't see your fiancé tonight. I asked her why she would say this. She said she didn't know, she can't control what her friend says, and walked outside. I'm sketched out as fuck by this point. I've never done this, but I looked at her phone records. Yes, I did, and I don't regret it. I saw that when she went outside, she called her friend that had texted me right after she went outside. I also saw an hour-long call with a number I didn't know on the way to the venue. I asked her what rental place they went to and multiple other questions. She had quick answers and they seemed legit. I thought maybe I'm crazy here and I needed a chill and to sleep on it. This morning, I asked her to please see the text from her friend asking to pick her up and I would apologize for questioning her the previous night. She said no. I said when I caught up to you yesterday on the way to the venue, I saw you were on the phone. Who was that? She said, oh, that's a friend I picked up later on. That's when I knew for a fact she was lying. I said I looked at her phone records and knew that wasn't true. She then changed her story to say, oh, I needed to meet up with a coworker to discuss a patient. Who is the co-worker and why couldn't you discuss that over the phone? I need to show him the techniques in person. His name is Michael. Okay, I'm sketched out beyond belief at this point. We never lie to each other. I asked to see the text with Michael. She said she wouldn't let me see. I said why not if there's nothing to hide? Are you having an affair? Do you not want to be together anymore? She pauses and proceeds to tell me all the things that are wrong with me. I work too much, I don't spend enough time with her and don't listen. I'm astonished. At this point, all of this is news to me. I put 2 and 2 together at this point and I know something sketchy is going on. I asked to see the texts. It took about half an hour of convincing to see these texts and they were crazy. Sexual in nature and talking a lot of shit about me. Also how she wanted to be with him and how they're essentially in love. She started this job 1.5 months ago. He's a co-worker. He's also 15 to 20 years older and divorced with multiple kids. I've been financially supporting her for the last few months as she got back on her feet and was working extra so she wouldn't have to pick up a part-time job. We own a house which we both live in with 3 dogs and a horse. Sorry for the novel, I'm beside myself right now. I did not see this coming and we were going to get married in 4 months. Any advice would help. Damn, and I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously there's no coming back from that at all. Not only have you been cheated on, but they've been talking shit behind your back at the same time. I know it's not the be-all and end-all, but that would really piss me off, to be quite honest. Obviously, you need to get on top of the legal stuff that's going to come. I can't advise on that. It changes from place to place and all this kind of thing. I'm sure the comments on this one will have much better advice than I could ever give on that. And I guess the only kind of thing I can get out of this, and I know it will sound harsh no matter what I say it, but be glad it's happened now rather than later when you actually do get married. And I feel like shit saying that, but I think if I was in your position that happened to me, although it'd probably be hard to see it that way right now, I think it'd be better for the long term. But Fake Time says standard cheater victim blaming. Don't let her pin this on you. OP, you deserve better. Cancel all vendors, notify invited guests, lock down your credit or shared finances. Are you sure a fair partner is divorced? You may be lying to your soon-to-be ex, or she may be lying to you. Either way, it sounds like she cheated down and screwed up royally. This sucks, but it's better to know now than 10 years down the road. I'm sorry you got blindsided like this, and I hope it gets better soon. The Fixer says, first of all, implement the 180 and Grey Rock method. The financial support for us should stop immediately. You'll need a lawyer to deal with the house and ask them how you can legally leverage the HR angle in your negotiations. She has shown her true colors and is acting horrible. That relationship will crash and burn, and she will then start begging to come back, sending strength. Any structure says, damn, that totally sucks, bro. Condolences on the death of that relationship. But in hindsight, you finding out about this work office affair was a blessing. You dodged a bullet. Imagine if this happened after the wedding. Cut your losses and never speak to her again. Even when the affair partner tires of her, which he most likely will, and she tries to get back to you, don't. Don't be her fallback guy. Move forward with your life. Don't be the dummy that takes her back and you back on Reddit talking about how I reconciled and she cheated again. Be better. Good luck. And one final comment from Ninja, who says, same shit happened with me, but unfortunately, I ended up married prior to finding out this stuff. You lucked out. It'd be more detrimental to find out after marriage. I'm still going through the long, horrible process of divorce after realizing how little you mean to someone you'd do anything for. So then OP updates the post and says, as an update, I was finally able to sit down with her tonight and go over this. Again, she came in trying to blame me for what she did, trying to justify the cheating and lying as a direct result of my lack of communication and listening. She said she wouldn't have had to start talking to this guy if I had been listening better. I spend too much time in the office working and don't dedicate enough time to her. I tried to explain that I was putting in extra hours to try and support her and the family financially while she was struggling, so she wouldn't have to get a part-time job. She said she would rather have gotten a part-time job, which makes no sense to me. She was under the impression that because this was short-lived, 1 week she says, and they only made out once, that we could move past this. When I brought up the text where she was trashing me and talking sexual things with him, she deflected hard and I got nowhere with that. I told her I'm not the reason that this is happening. She went too far and should have communicated with me or thought about the implications first. I can never trust her again, and this is all because of her actions. Whether she wants to try and justify this as my fault is up to her. At the end of this part, it got a bit calmer. I said, listen, we just really need to figure out the house we own jointly and the 3 dogs. We came to the conclusion that either I stay and buy her out or we sell and get new places. The dogs, one of us will get 1, the other 2. To be determined. So that's where this left off tonight, and we'll continue to keep you all posted on the progress. Curious what you would all do about the house. Financially, I can support it alone, but it is nearly 3k square feet and 5 acres of land, which was bought solely to have a horse. She has taken the horse when she leaves and boarding it in a barn. I can't help but think about the poor dog. Surely whichever one's going to be the separated one is going to miss the others. OP continued with another update on the post saying, day 3. I was able to sit and have a 3-hour conversation with her tonight. We talked about our relationship and what led to what occurred. It started with her telling me what I did wrong in our relationship, lack of communication, spending too much time working on my phone. I don't disagree with any of these things. My mindset behind working so much was support of the family. I run an e-commerce business on the side and I'm a one-man customer service center and deals happen 24 hours a day. I'm never not on the clock. I could have certainly been better about setting my phone aside and responding to people the next day. A lack of communication was on both ends, and a prime example of this is the fact that I was unaware she was unhappy with any of this. It was never communicated to me. She said she felt I would have gotten upset if she told me but never gave me the chance to work on it. I'm not a perfect person by any means, and many times I do or say things that are misinterpreted by her as rude. An example of this is a week or 2 ago, I was trying to help her with a budget with her financial problems to try and set up a plan to get her on track. To note, I work in the financial industry and do this for clients all the time. She had mentioned that she owed me maybe $1,000 and she would get that back to me next paycheck. I said something like, I think it's a little bit more than that. Let's go through the transfers I have made to our joint account. It ended up being over $5,000. My purpose for doing this was not to make her feel bad, but to realize how much I've been contributing. She took this as me trying to humiliate her. I was just trying to help and maybe my timing was off. She told me I have been too focused on money lately, but I was only trying to make sure we were going to be okay. We still had quite a bit to pay for the wedding and my budgeting mentality was on overload trying to make sure we had enough. The fact that she keeps trying to justify what she did by attributing that as a direct correlation to my flaws really bothers me. She keeps telling me that she's surprised I would throw away 7 years of a relationship away like this. I keep having to remind her that I didn't throw it away. She did with her actions. She told me that I told too many people too quickly and we could have resolved all of this between us. She also said that she would have had to talk to someone else if I was a better listener and communicator. I have finally determined the extent of the affair, which I actually believe based on the text that I read. They began talking 1 to 2 weeks before via text. I don't know if they had met up before outside of work, but this time around he had asked her to the park to play basketball and talk. She met up with him and they ended up making out. I truly believe it didn't go further than this. Yet. But it would have been in the near future, I'm sure. She says he is not her boyfriend. She also took off tonight and I have no idea where she is at, assuming with him or a girlfriend. It is an awkward living situation, but I'm hoping this resolves in the near term. I do think she wants me to get back with her and try to repair that. I think that the main issue was the lack of communication that manifested for a long time. We got into a routine, lived our boring, simple life, and meanwhile, this problem was never discussed and grew over time. She acted out instead of talking to me and also lied to my face / talked a lot of shit about me behind my back. She can be very sneaky, and I don't think I can fully trust her again. Obviously, this would be the easiest thing to do, but I don't think I would ever be truly happy. Understanding the root cause has helped me feel better. If nothing else, it will allow me to address my personality flaws / communication issues and see things from another perspective. I started hitting the gym today and will keep a routine going. I also plan on picking back up on studying my CFP designation. I took the week off to focus on my mental health. Today, I called the wedding venue and officially cancelled the date. We were able to get some money back but lost a bit unless the date can be resold to another couple. Unlikely. I also spoke with her parents again to keep them apprised. They live far away and I'm sure they are worried sick. I continue to let them know everything is fine and calm and they don't need to worry about their daughter. I did some research and with interest rates where they are today, I will not be able to find a comparable house for the mortgage I pay for this. Can barely find an apartment for less nowadays. I think my best option is to try and buy out her share and have her find an apartment. She seems agreeable at this time. We will have an appraiser out to assess the value and see what half of the equity would be, and if that is doable for me. My question to you all are, does this change your mind at all about the situation? Am I handling this properly? If not, what should I be doing different? And there was a couple of comments that broke this post down. So the first one says, at this point, I would stop giving her the platform to tell you that her cheating is because of you. It's not. She chose to cheat. Instead of being an adult and having adult conversations in an adult relationship, she chose to cheat. The moment any of that shit escapes her lips, shut it down. She doesn't deserve to have your ear. She's hoping that if she says it enough, you'll start to believe it. Shut it down. Conversations are hallmarks of a relationship. You chose to cheat, it's over. Rinse, recycle, repeat as necessary. Personally, I'll be done with any conversing. I hope the house thing works out. Next one says, you have so many things that you need to get over before this relationship can be recovered. So in no particular order, you have the following to consider. She is trickle-truthing you, and the chances that she is still not being honest with you are high. The simplest way to put it is the time-honored axiom that kids kiss, adults fuck, unless she can be completely honest with you, even knowing that it may hurt you to know the truth. Any trust you have in her will be non-existent. She has leapt straight into Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. This is sadly a classic cheater's move, and you can see this quite clearly in trying to pin the blame for her actions on you. Sorry, but you didn't magically hand her a card saying, please cheat on me, I'm a bad fiancé. She did this of her own accord, for her own reasons, and because even though she knew it was wrong, she did it anyway. None of this is on you. Even when the chips are down and your engagement is in the balance, she chose him over you and continues to choose him over you. At a time when you would expect that she would pull out all the stops to be with you, she has decided for whatever reason to continue seeing him. Anyone in her position who feared the loss of their partner would be bending over backwards to show you that she is not who you think she is. Sadly, she has done the exact opposite and is doing all in her power to drive you further apart. She doesn't want you to throw away 7 years of a relationship away like this, but isn't that exactly what she is doing by her actions? What did she expect would happen if she hooks up with a guy she's just met at the expense of the person she's supposed to marry? Sorry, but no. She has thrown away 7 years. Not you. Her. Her lack of honesty to your face is now being backed up by a complete lack of respect for you. How someone can go from yes I will marry you to nah you never made me happy and this new guy I just met can is not the way to build a life of joy and happiness on. Hell, if it was a house, any right-minded civil engineer would condemn the building before the foundations had a chance to dry. The foundations of this relationship are now in the realm of a sandpit in a swamp. The sum result of her blaming you has you now questioning your role in her affair. This is by design and is something that all cheaters do when faced with the consequences of their actions. She wants you to blame yourself so that you can play her game of pick me. Now that you no longer wish to play, she'll easily move on to the new guy and will not give you a second thought. For now. As you say, you have taken action and have cancelled the wedding and stopped your engagement. You are handling this properly. You need to make it clear to her that once the sole thing keeping you together is dealt with, the sale/transfer of the house, that she will be out of your life forever. So, are you throwing away 7 years? No. You had it thrown away for you, and you were just sweeping up the mess left behind by her actions. But now, keep all communication between you restricted purely to the asset split. Tell her absolutely nothing about your plans, what you were doing in your life, etc. She lost that right when she did what she did, and if she tries to fill you in on what she has been doing, just pull her up with the same simple phrase. I no longer care what you do, it's no longer my business. And quotes OP and says, understanding the root cause has helped me feel better. And goes on to say, but please also understand that there are no root causes for why she did what she did. That is all on her own personal flaws in her character and morals, and you had absolutely nothing to do with it. As you said yourself, she is very sneaky, and this is just who she is. So get your agreement done ASAP, and even if you do take a small loss and end up with a few months of eating ramen to pay her out, you will end up ahead. And then once it's all done, start working towards being as indifferent to her as you can possibly be. And now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's have one more story. And our next story comes from Following Fit 3032 and says, am I the a-hole for selling the house my brother and his family live in? Short and simple, I think. A few years ago, my brother needed help. I let him move into one of my rental properties and we did it all legal, lease agreement and everything. Because I was renting to him at a break-even point, we agreed that he was responsible for all the maintenance of the house and yard. Well, he has 4 kids and the hot water tank isn't enough for his family and he wants a new one. I told him to go ahead. He then proceeded to take the cost of the hot water tank and installation out of that month's rent. I reminded him of our agreement. He said he wasn't making improvements to my property for free. I said that the old hot water tank was fine, and he made the decision to replace it. Big argument, and I didn't want to fight, so I said that he was not allowed to make any further changes to the house without my explicit agreement. So he stopped doing maintenance as a protest. The house itself is not pretty, but it is solid. It is old, and the wiring in it was not meant for all the modern electronics we have. He wanted to add a new breaker box and run more outlets. I said no thanks, I cannot afford that since I'm not making any money on the house. He started getting bitchy about it, and then rent started getting paid late. I tried talking to him, but he said that he had to buy some stuff for the house and he was low on cash. So I sold the house. While the house itself isn't great, and is in an older part of the city, and the property itself is 1/4 of an acre. Every time a house sells in the neighborhood, it is snapped up by developers and turned into multi-family units. Or one guy built a McMansion on his land. I know a lot of developers, and I didn't even need to list the house to have it sold in less than a week. My brother found out when he was served with an eviction notice. He called me to ask what the fuck, so I told him that the house was causing me headaches and I had an opportunity to make some money and I took it. He said I should have offered him a chance to buy it. I said that he was having trouble making rent. How was he going to qualify for a mortgage? He said I'm an arsehole and that he has the money, he was waiting to make me an offer. I asked him if he had the money, why was he late on his rent? He started bad-mouthing me to all our family. A few of them took his side and tried to say I was being an arsehole, so I offered them all a chance to clear his debt to me if they wanted to share their opinion. None of them took me up on the offer. My parents are on my side and they said I shouldn't have rented to him in the first place. I feel bad for my sister-in-law and the kids, but I'm not going to spend the rest of my life subsidizing his. And we're going to start in the comments with Mush Puppy, who says everyone sucks here. You should have told him you were selling. Not to give him a chance to buy, just let him know. There's a big difference between keeping someone informed that they'll be losing their home and subsidizing their lifestyle. Were you afraid you'd give in and help out more if you had a chance to say something? If so, that's a you problem. Your brother sucks for the reasons you mentioned. Stupid throwaway says you're the a-hole for not giving him a heads up. Yeah, he's an asshole for trying to stiff you on the rent, but holy shit, why would you not tell your brother they're about to be homeless? Lieutenant Dan says, not the a-hole, your brother is a manipulative jerk. Getting out of any form of monetary dealings with him was the absolutely smartest thing you could have done. Good on you for not giving him first dibs after he decided he was going to be a crappy tenant when you refused to play any more of his dumb games after the hot water heater incident. He all but admitted trying to whittle down your patience, so you just offer him the house out of sheer frustration. Too many folks use family as a blanket excuse for unspoken expectation of tolerance of crappy behavior indefinitely. So glad to see that wasn't the case here. This is a great opportunity for your brother to learn that his actions actually do have consequences out in the real world. Not holding my breath by any means, but the opportunity for him to learn is there, minimally. And hopefully you have learned that your side to avoid dealings like this with family/friends in the future. Sorry you had to go through it, but hopefully you can rest assured that you handled it as best as a crappy situation like this can be handled, in my opinion. And Timely Ask says, not the a-hole, why should you lose money to help him out? It was good of you to rent to him at a discount, and he crapped on you for your hospitality. You can feel bad for your sister-in-law and nibblings, but they are not your responsibility. And now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below as always. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for being involved every single day. You know I appreciate ya. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love to you.